Today we are here to give a highlight on our this year 2017 research expedition, which is normally conducted and organized by University of the Gambia Socio-Historical Fact Finders Club or History Club. Normally we intend to expose our students to sub-regional history, especially history that are actually linked to our Senegambian history. This year, we intend to focus our research on Mauritanian and the Senegalese zone. If you look at most of our research, we actually release about 4 documentary videos which are of international standard. And this year, we are also working on a documentary that is on Manjakos and other ethnic groups. And that's why we want to focus on Mauritania down to the lower Senegal region in order to look at the history of Ghana Empire and that of the Wall of Empire. So we intend to do that because Ghana Empire, if you look at it, has a very important historical relevance to our history and culture for that matter. Because it was Ghana that supplied institutional civilization in the lower Senegal after the downfall of Ghana Empire. And most of our teachers that we are training at the School of Arts and Science and the Department of Education, University of the Gambia, are sent to be trained by the Ministry of Basic Education. So in doing that, we believe that most of these teachers, especially those in social science, social studies, and history in the higher schools, normally most of them don't know anything about the geographical location of Ghana Empire. So we believe that we cannot be teaching students through the books or theoretically. The student must also go to the field to understand where the geographical location of some of these civilized establishments were. And that's why this year, we want to take most of these students to Mauritania, especially the southern part of Mauritania, which is Kumbisali, for them to study the ruins and the heritage of Ghana Empire. And from there, when we study the ruins and the heritages, we'll come down to Senegal in order to also find out in our own research methodology, using our own research methodology, in order to capture the essence of the Ghana Wall of Empire. Because we need to understand these are all important empires that actually gave Senegambian another form of civilization that actually has been carried out up to the modern era. So therefore, we talk about the Fulani empires in Guinea-Conakry. We talked about, we actual populace on the Cabo Empire, which is a Mandinka empire. So therefore, we also want to also make a focus on the history of Jollof people who are also part of the Gambia. And therefore, it is important for them to realize that these institutions, these empires and establishments are very important. Students cannot be learning this thing. They must go down to the settings where some of these civilizations take place in order for them to understand it so that it can serve them. It can serve as a teaching aid for most of the teachers in the basic education and the senior secondary school. So that's why we rationalize our research framework on looking at the global system leading to the establishment of each of these empires. We know that the empire of Ghana was established as a result of the response to the global changes that is in the old world system. And the Jollof Empire and others also were all emerged. They all emerged as a result of the response to the changes in the national political and economic system. So we are studying this not in isolation of other histories, but in link and in connection with the global history, which is very, very important. Therefore, I will be traveling with my students to Mauritania on the 22nd July to go to Mauritania to go and explore Kumbisali, the ancient capital of Ghana Empire, where we will spend about 5 days. We'll come down to Dakar. We'll also spend 5 days in order to do that because these two histories had a link. So therefore, we believe that exposing our students is very, very important. Another thing is that the reason objective of exposing our students to other historical sites is that we believe that in Senegambia and in sub-Saharan Africa, we cannot actually succeed in achieving the establishment of regional economic bloc or political bloc when people who are living in that region do not even understand the geographical terrain of that sub-region?
My name is Ismail Abba, and my major is mathematics. I choose this course because I want to go and make the research for myself, to be part of the people who will make the research. Most of our history in the Gambia here are not authentic that much, because some of the histories that I learned in my junior school and primary school, when I came to the university, I realized that they were not the actual thing. So I feel like as a Gambian, it's good that I join the trip and go to Kumbisali, then find some historical fact about the people who stayed there. I will be very honest to say that first time I thought Kumbisali was found in the present day Ghana. I never knew that Kumbisali was in Mouritanie. So I think this will help me a lot, and my other students, and even the country at large, for us to go out and make the research for ourselves. Hence, it's our own Gambia. Then we go out and make our research better than leaving it to other people to make the research for us. Because when you look at most of the senior school, I'm a teacher, most of the senior school history books are written by non-Gambians. So it will be so funny for non-Gambian to write our own history and we accept it. So I feel like as a university student, we should be committed to take this thing wholeheartedly and make the research successful, so that we go out and then, hence we have some Gambians who, their origin, one can trace it to Ghana Empire, because we have Sarakules, and they said those Sarakules were the rulers of Ghana Empire at that time. And we have good fraction of the Gambian population who they are Sarakules. So it will be very important for us to go there and know their history also, and know how they how they migrated to the Gambia, and then how did they organize their empire at that time. Because I learned that it was the first empire in West Africa, and I think this will even help our politicians to know, this is how our ancient people were ruling, and this is how they succeed, and this was their constraint, and this was their problem. So they too can learn from it. So this is not only a university work or just a classroom work, but this will benefit the entire country. It's more of fact finding. We go out and find the reality about ourselves, and then bring it to our people. Because many people here, if you ask them where is Kumbisali located, they will tell you in Ghana, present day Ghana, without knowing that the name Ghana was given to Ghana by Kwame Nkrumah. But the actual Ghana Empire, some part is in Mauritania, and Kumbisali today is found in Mauritania. So that's my take of the trip.
This trip is very essential because it is basically about knowledge production. And for there to be knowledge production, there must be students who are enthusiastic to be part of the knowledge production. Therefore, going to Kumbisali is a very integrated part of the knowledge production that university students are yearning to bring to the students of the Gambia and other students outside. As my colleague rightly mentioned, most of us, when we were at school, we learned about the history of the Gambia and other histories around the country that were written by non-Gambians. Hence, this trip will enable us to have the up-to-date information about the Gambia and the empires that emerged in Western Sudan, namely Ghana Empire, Mali Empire, and Shanghai Empire.
My name is Ibrahim Asanko. I'm a student of the University of the Gambia, Faculty of Law. I am currently the Secretary General of the University of the Gambia Student Union. With regards to the preparatory trip, this is not the first time I'm hearing, of course, our indefatigable history lecturer coming up with something like this. When you talk about research in the University of the Gambia, he's one of the lecturers that are at the forefront of research. And you will all agree with me that nothing in the world today makes up a university what it is except research and publication. And if you look at the trend of the documents, the research that he has been publishing, you tend to wonder if this particular individual actually only studied in the confines of the University of the Gambia. Now that goes to a greater extent to show to you that this research is necessary for the Gambians, because what we are going to find out in Mauritania is one thing that may not only benefit those that are going out there, but it's also going to benefit the greater people of the Gambia.
I am Jibril Jiba. Well, I think history is a very important part of human existence, which is unavoidable in one's life. This will not be my first time of joining Mr. Toure's trip. The last time we were at Dakar, and it was very fruitful. We went to different sites, ranging from the Gore Island, going towards up to Ngor and different areas. And we were fortunate to even meet the wife of the famous griot, who is Laro Keba, which is all very important. I think also it will be a great opportunity for the students to expand their knowledge in understanding things going on around the sub-region, especially in the neighboring countries like Senegal and Mauritania. I think this trip will be very, very instrumental as far as expanding the students' knowledge is concerned.
Well, I will say history is an important aspect in our lives because it always like know yourself, know your culture, to better look at yourself. Before you can before you can say this is who I am, you first have to know your culture. How can we know our culture? Because there are some of us who got our ancestries from Dakar, Senegal, Mali, but we cannot know that through this history trip. As we travel to taste, hear, sense, and know, we touch and diversity to know about the different cultures in Africa, the political system of other African countries, the history of other African countries, and also the economic system of other countries. As we call ourselves the youth of tomorrow, that our aim is to to shape the globe. So it is an important area in our life to go and explore ourselves. The last time we had a trip in Dakar, it was very fruitful. This is a trip that was nostalgia. This is a trip that you attended the University of the Gambia, but there is this one moment that you always remember because of what? You met different students from different schools through the history club. It was a diversity for us and unification for us. We were able to know each other and we never forgot that trip. And Mr. Ture took us to Ngori Island, Dakar, TFM, and other places that we all enjoy our trip. And I am looking forward to join the Mauritania trip.
Just to conclude, we can say that we want to thank the University of the Gambia authorities, the vice chancellors, the deans for cooperating with us. Most of our previous trips were actually sponsored by the university through the support of the deans of the University of the Gambia. And we also want to thank some of the institutions who have started paying some money. We are thanking the GTS, Gambia Transport Service. We are also thanking the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Gambia, who gave us $10,000. And last week, this actually demonstrated how they are actually interested in seeing the knowledge production. And we also thank many institutions who are also ready to come in. But what we have to say is that what my students are saying is knowledge production is key and central to any university. It's absent in any university. That university would never be considered as a research institution. And the only way we can accredit this university is the number of research that we have successfully actually realized. So therefore, we are encouraging the institutions, people, and other partners to join us. This research also is open to outsiders. Because what we want, our objective is not only to expose our students, but also to expose Gambians so that they will be able to establish link with other parts of African countries. What we realize in Africa is that sometimes when we are to establish link with other African countries, we as institutions or others, we are not normally active. Well, one, it is a Western country because of the material benefit that will be actually realized from that. We are always active, but it's important for us to understand our sub-region, our history, our geography, our economy in all aspects of human endeavor, so that the African Union we're talking about, that will actually uplift life and the standardize the people's survival, will actually be realized without any impediment. So I thank everybody. Thank you for your partnership and your presence for them.